Hey there, Gemini. It's Jen here from tarotspirit.net. I'm doing an overview reading for 2019, and instead of pulling a card for every month, I'm going to pull a few cards for love, and then pull a few cards for career, and some overall spiritual growth overall cards at the end. So thanks for joining me. So I'm not going to lie to you. There are some cards on here that this year you will make a decision about a relationship. Right here on the top, we have a couple of majors. So we have the Hanged Man, and when I read this card in a love reading, I read it a little differently than in other contexts. It's about sort of feeling stuck in a relationship and not really knowing what to do. And this happens because, you first of all, you invest a lot of time in relationships. And it's sort of that feeling like, oh my God, 4 years in and it's not working. And that's, it just feels, I don't know, a waste of time isn't really the right phrase, but it does. It feels like, wow, all that investment, 4 years of my life, and that's it. Um, it's sort of for me what I'm getting is this you love this person, you care about this person, but it's not your romantic partner forever. Like maybe you've become more like roommates. Sorry. And so you've been putting off making a decision because of that, because you truly care about this person, but you also don't want to be married to your sister or brother when if it's just lost all of its spark, or maybe it's just lost all of its spark for you, and the other person doesn't feel that way, and you love them and you care about them and you don't want to hurt them. I'm really sorry, but there, you can't have any more sleepless nights where you're just up like, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to deal with this? And again, you could be on either side of this coin. Maybe you feel like the other person just really isn't into it, but they're not, sorry, outright saying something. So you're up worried. And there's also, gosh, sorry. So I feel like one person's like worried and stressed, and one person's like, I can't do this anymore. Like I just feel like it's become a burden. Okay, that's what this card is. And so it's nice that the Judgment card comes out, because that's not a place, no matter what side of that coin you're on, that's not a good place to be. So someone's going to make a decision about a relationship this year. For some of you that are in less, someone may break up over text, which is not so classy. But it's like it'll be interesting, because I feel like for some people, the minute you break up, you or your significant, your previous, the person you just broke up with, they're going to be in a new relationship right away, and you're going to be like, oh, so they were just waiting, they found someone else. And it's so that's when this card goes back to its more traditional meaning. It's like, okay, let's put things in perspective. You don't Yes, it sucks that you put all that time and you feel betrayed, and you may be up crying and upset, which is normal, right? So, but at some point you're going to be like, you know what? They weren't the right person for me. And yeah, that's 4 years of my life, but it's better than 8 years of my life. And just sort of this acceptance of it. And so it's when that happens that things turn around pretty fast for you. So it's just getting the right mindset, getting from this mindset of insomnia and obsession and obsessively worrying and stalking them on Facebook and talking about what their new significant other looks like. Like I see you going down that rabbit hole. We've all been there, right? Don't no judgment here. But there is judgment here. But finally you're like, what am I doing? Like you realize that it's unhealthy and it's not, and it's like you need to let it go, you need to move forward. And once you get that right in your mind and see, change your perspective about the situation, you're like good. You take off. All of a sudden people are going to be like, maybe you're going to like lose weight. You're going to start like working out or doing stuff, and you're going to realize that you had felt stuck and stagnant and unhappy, and you were just waiting for the other person or waiting for yourself or whatever the situation is, and you've been unburdened. You see now that you've been unburdened from it, and you can move forward. I see you like doing online dating, like meetups, like getting out there and really like thriving and being like, I can see now that that relationship was not the right one. Oops. Yes, okay. I was going to see if another card came out, and this one flew out. This card is, for me, it's a card about the difference between living your life as a series of reactions versus living your life with a specific goal in mind, that you take action to get to that goal. And so, maybe you were in this relationship because maybe you didn't really, maybe there were red flags, or you didn't really, this person, like, it wasn't like, this is it, if you really were honest with yourself, but it was like, this is convenient. It just sort of happened. And now you're like, no, when I meet someone, it's going to be someone that is right for me. I'm not going to just like, oh, you're available, I'm available, like as being the only criteria. You may literally move when this card shows up. You may be like, oh my God, the only reason I was even in this stupid city or town or whatever was because of that person. And now that we're no longer together, again, the opportunities. Maybe I will move. I had always planned on going to California, but I've been in Detroit because that's where this person's job was, or whatever. You may just move out of, if you've been living together, have to change residence, and now you're like, this is great because now I'm going to live by the park, or I'm going to live here, I'm going to wherever I wanted to live, because maybe you had been compromising for this person a lot and you weren't able to make them happy because the relationship just wasn't right. And now that you see that and wrap your mind around it, you're actually excited. So that's the point. You're like excited and you realize you were being held back. And it just is going to, it's going to allow a passionate new beginning. Like your mojo's back. It's sparked. You kind of, well, the Judgment card is often a wake-up call, and you're like, yeah, I was stagnant. Like, that was not healthy for me. And now I'm excited. I'm passionate and enthusiastic and really ready to, you may even get a new job. You may, like, it's just going to be so good for you. Okay, I think I'll just leave it at that. Now, obviously, if you're married and super happy, this has nothing to do with you. But while you guys could decide to move together, though, as you could collectively be like, things are stagnant here. Um, we've become stagnant here. Why are we even here? Do we even want to live here? And together, make those types of changes where you're like, I want to live. Maybe you watch a lot of HGTV like I do, and you're like, I want to live in Barbados and sell everything and figure out a way to telecommute or whatever, and just move. Something awesome like that. But a reassessment, when that judgment card comes up, something changes significantly. And it's like that whole saying, like, once you know something, you can't unknow it. You have to address it. So let's see, for career, these just fell out. Strength, 7 of Wands, 5 of Swords, 6 of Swords. It's nice. I'm just going to say it. There's just a coworker that's just undermines you or super passive aggressive and just is so like being right. They're the type of person in the meetings that are just like have to be right. And when everyone's ready to go, they just have to keep talking because it's all about them. So don't get sucked in. Don't get sucked in with those types of people. Don't get defensive. Don't get sucked into a competition with them. Just let them distance yourself. Let them be their crazy self and just stay out of it. But for some of you, you're just like, I'm out. I'm sick of dealing with this. Like, I'm just not interested. And unfortunately, there's always it only takes one person like that. I can't think of a job I've had where there hasn't been one toxic person that seems to, it just takes that what's the one rotten apple to spoil the cart, to just create a negativity in the workplace. And, sometimes they are just obnoxious, or what's the word? It's just obvious enough that you can just ignore them and everyone kind of rolls their eyes and doesn't pay too much attention. But there are some people that are just really malignant, and especially if they're in a position of power or have the ear of someone in power, can just really just add another layer of just unnecessary stress to what is usually somewhat stressful on its own. And so you very well maybe like, I'm out of here, I'm moving, I am taking a new job, leaving that type of toxicity. And it's right after is this happy family card, the happily ever after card. So if that resonates with you, you will leave and you'll be like, oh my God, I'm so happy. That was so dysfunctional, and I just had been there for so long, and I'm so glad. And you'll feel vulnerable because that saying of the devil we know versus whatever, I can never remember, get the sayings right, but you were used to that devil and dealing with him, and so it might be hard for you to leave, but it's definitely the right thing to do. And maybe they're like, why are you leaving? You are turning your back on something. Why are you leaving? And you're like, oh, because of this a-hole. And but no, you're not going to do that. You're just going to let them have their last word, but they're going to lose you. And they usually do. I had worked for a very toxic manager, and she ended up getting fired long after I left, but it finally did catch up with her. But it wasn't worth me trying to. Yeah, sometimes it's just best to walk away, even if it sucks that you're the one that has to leave. But there's this page. There's a new offer coming. So, and it's something that like feels good. Like it's um this offer, it's just no more of this type of energy in the workplace of everyone for themselves, or just toxic people that are more interested in being right than getting the job done well and working together. Um, this offer is like, it's much more aligned with um, the atmosphere you want, the type of work you want, the type of environment you want to be in. It's something much, so again, the happily, you're going to be, it's like you have this like, this strength energy where you're just white knuckling it. You're like, I'm sick of standing up for myself or being put on the defensive and this a-hole here, and I'm moving away from that situation. I'm leaving. And then look at, you have these beautiful happy cards. So if you are in a toxic work environment, making the decision to leave this year will be the right decision, and you'll be so happy you did it. All right, let's look at some overall spirituality cards. You know, if it's your business, you may need to fire someone. You need to really, if you have that one person that's making all your other employees unhappy, they could even be like a friend or something, but you didn't realize. There are some people I have this one former coworker. I could not stand working with her, but we're still friends now that it was at where I used to live. I love her outside of work. I cannot stand her inside of work. And that's really tough because you definitely could lose a friendship, but you can't, it's like, you can't have your livelihood affected by this person that doesn't know how to behave properly in the professional environment. So, all right, let's get a few overall lesson cards. Whoops, that's too many. Let's take these few. Strength card again. 10 of Wands, unburdening yourself. Page of Wands, 10 of Swords. Definitely some judgment again. Definitely a big decision you're making this year. And it's a decision, like, people are going to be like, what are you doing? They're fear-based of you making these changes you need to make in your life. They're going to be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But once you've made this decision, you've had this breakthrough, this aha moment, and you know something you can't unknow. You're just going to be like, I know it seems, maybe it seems risky to them, but you're just like, no, I have to do it. I can't unsee what I've seen. And it's all about having been way overburdened before and getting rid of that burden. And this 10 of Swords, I mean, this is not a pleasant energy. This is that, I remember we had the 9 of Swords. This is just like so mentally stressed out. It's like unhealthy. And you're like, no, I have to unburden myself. Life is too short. And this page of Wands is like a new job, an entrepreneurial type energy. This is action, taking action this year to make the changes you really need to make that you've maybe needed to make for a long time. And once you make them and you can let go of that fear, you're on the other side of the fear. You're just like, oh my God, like such a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. You just can't even believe like how much better your life is. And this beautiful 9 of Pentacles. So some of you may find yourself single or standing on your own. Single is not bad. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily literally mean like you're not in a relationship, but it means you are accepting full responsibility for where you are in your life. You are pulling your weight. You're like you're really growing, like you've reached another level of maturity this year. Um, some of you absolutely may be on your own, living on your own, managing everything, no longer leaning on people or feeling like you have to have someone in your life to help you. Like you're paying your own rent, you're getting the oil changed in your car, you're getting a loan, you're doing your own insurance. I mean, you're full up, can count on yourself. You say you're going to lose weight and get up and exercise, and you do it, and you gain an enormous amount of confidence by knowing you can rely on yourself, and that you've made decisions and made changes that you need to make that are best for you. And it's not selfish, it's self-respect. All right, I'm going to leave it there because that's the whole message right there. Happy 2019 to you, and I'll see you at the next reading. Thanks, Gemini. Bye.